this episode was a pretty freaking good episode of JoJo because it just told you how much a person can change when a lot of money is put in front of a person. When this person's completely childlike, been in second year in a school, completely childlike, not really having any qualms against anyone, saying, look, I've got friends now, I never had friends before, now I have friends because there's power I have. But when you put money in front of a person, a lot of it, they can change. And what happens to Gechi in this episode? He completely changes as someone who almost resembles a complete antithesis of what he was originally. Like, if you gave me the scene when Sugechi was running around with the money, and gave me the scene before it when he was completely normal, I would never have said they're both exactly the same character because they're so different. I mean, it was kind of scary how jarring transition of his character was. Like, in essence, he was this completely normal child. Like, he's going, yeah, I have friends now. And then he changed to, like, okay, look, I'll give you some of this money. Like, and at the end, when he actually won the 5 million yen from the lottery, he's like, I don't want to give him half of the money I'm going to get from this. In essence, they actually agreed that they get half from the actual lottery ticket if they won it. And they actually won. Okuyasu actually won the lottery. Like, in essence, he actually won from a missing lottery ticket that someone actually dropped. And then Sugechi at the end's like, I'm not giving it up. I'm not giving them half of what of this because I was the one that got this. Harvest was the one that actually got this lottery ticket, so I should be the one that gets the money. And I was like, wow, he completely changed. Even the scene, how the actual, like, how his face completely changed color, it just showed you how much his character has completely changed from what he was originally. I was kind of like, it's really freaking interesting how they did it because, again, originally, as I said before, was completely normal. In essence, that he was going to give the money that he earned originally from those coins from the lost change that he got in Immortal to Josuke and Okuyasu. But Josuke's all like, no, I can't do that. I don't want to do that. My pride's too important. And then Josuke actually proposes to actually kind of form together into a trio to actually gain money. But I was kind of sitting here going as well, the main thing I get from this episode was a nice change of pace that Araki gave us. In essence, the actual stand that was introduced in this episode, being Harvest, didn't actually pose a threat to our main protagonist. There was no problems. Literally, there was nothing wrong with this stand. It wasn't going to attack our protagonist originally. In essence, it actually allowed them to get gain from this stand. It wasn't actually them losing something, they were gaining from it. They were gaining money from this stand. This stand really was a nice change. But then it all changed at the end. How it all then became a threat. It became what was originally non-threat to a threat again. Again, when we get introduced a new stand user in JoJo, we always associate the fact it's going to attack our protagonist. Even when Okuyasu's first introduced into this episode, when he's running after Harvest, he's like, I'm going to kill you. And then Josuke's all like, why are you going to kill him? And then in essence, he says, when did he attack you? And he actually didn't attack him. So it's a nice change of pace that I actually kind of welcomed into this anime. I actually quite like it. I thought, what do you know? I actually quite like that. It's actually a nice change. It's a nice little change. And the character they introduced as well, being a stand user, really was kind of nice change as well. In essence, he's the completely normal child, as I said before. No qualms, like literally has nothing wrong with him. In essence, when he's actually first introduced to our protagonists, when he actually looms over them from the actual like kind of bushes, you'll think, oh freaking hell, like they're gonna get it. Like you're just throwing the words at that point, like nah fam. But no, he's completely normal. He says, oh my god, I have friends now because there's power I have. But then it was just this scheme that Josuke introduced to him that really just changed his character. Like originally, yeah, he was completely normal. Like up to that point, nothing wrong. Like in essence, after that point again, he was still completely normal. It's when he actually got the money from the stamps that actually Harvest and actually collected, because we actually understand Harvest collects like loose change in module. Like in essence, he's doing nothing wrong still. Again, Harvest isn't doing anything wrong because what he does is he actually just collects like loose change in module, like gaining money from loose change. In essence, he's not really doing anything wrong. He's not stealing. He's just like getting lost change that people have dropped and don't want anymore, like underneath trash cans, inside trash cans, that kind of thing. So he isn't doing anything wrong. And it's just, I was kind of like, okay, that's actually kind of neat. But it's just the way that he changed. Even when he gained the money, and he went straight to that woman that was walking past, like, hey, look, I've got this fat stack here, mate. Do you want to have some fun? I was kind of like, whoa. All right, whew, okay, he changed. I was like, freaking hell, all right. I was like, Araki, mate. Good change of pace there, Araki, mate. Good change of pace. But it's just, it was a kind of nice jarring transition of his character because again, like we associate him being completely normal, like he's going to pose no threat. But then once the lottery tickets came into picture and then Okuyasu actually won the lottery, he actually got 5 million yen from it. Okuyasu originally telling him, look, we're going to gain half of this. We will gain half of this. So he's all like, yeah, sure, why not? Don't worry about it. Yeah, you'll gain half of it. But then, once they actually win it, I mean, even Josuke's all like, I don't think you've won that. And he's all like, oh Christ, you've won it. And then what happens is, he's in the background, Sagechi's in the background, just kind of like, I just can't give him the money. I don't want to do this. I'm the one that actually got all of this, so I don't want to be entitled to it. It's that whole idea that really, when you think about it, Josuke and Okuyasu completely like kind of negated. They completely negated this whole idea that actually he's the one that collected the money. So he would always kind of think to himself that he's the one that should get the most money. No one else should get it. They're the one that came up with the idea. I mean, Josuke came up with the idea, but he's not the one collecting the stamps. That actually allows him to change it into money. He's not the one collecting it. It's actually Sagechi. So Sagechi always has the mentality that he's the one that has to gain that money. So when you at the end, you kind of just go, when you think to yourself like, oh Christ, like it's going to become a threat. But when you think about it in a larger context, he's the one that collected the money. So in essence, when you think about it, this is the main thing I get from this episode is always get down in writing what you propose to someone. In essence, when you're going to say to someone, look, we're going to go into this kind of coalition, like, in essence, like, look, if we get into some money, I'll have half of it, you have half of it. Like, nothing wrong here. Get it down in writing. Don't ever go into a, like, kind of proposition with someone without it down in writing, because it always will lead to something really, really bad. Because if someone tries to question you, like, in essence, someone tries to say, well, what, I didn't say that. But if it's written down in writing, they can't say anything against it because it's their writing. They've written it down that they have to give over this money. But they kind of negated that whole idea as well. In essence, they just didn't really think about it. They didn't really kind of... They were too kind of overwhelmed by the idea of gaining this much money, gaining 61,000 yen from really doing nothing. And they just kind of completely just like negated the kind of like, I guess, economics behind the entirety of the ordeal. But in essence, the whole entire episode was actually really interesting. I mean, in the beginning, we kind of get this idea that the actual like kind of main threat is still there. The evidence or the main threat is there. In essence, Koichi explains through narration that yes, the threat is still there. The overlooming threat is still present in Morio. That's the main thing we're getting towards. But this episode's kind of like just a little kind of like breather from it. In essence, as well, Yukako came back in a pretty brief cameo with Koichi walking past. I was like, oh, best girl is back. I was like, thank you, Christ. But what can I really say? It's a freaking fantastic episode. Really just kind of just tells you how much a character can change just because of money. So yes, with all that said, I have been a driver. My 91 days reviews and hopefully older man reviews will be out next week. Like, in essence, I'm going to catch up with him by next week and then probably review him around about Friday-ish, Saturday, depending on what my schedule actually kind of conflicts to. So yes, with all that said, I've been a driver. If you have enjoyed the video as a whole, and you do want to leave a like, do leave a like because it does help me quite a bit. If you have enjoyed my content as a whole and you do want to leave a sub, do leave a sub because it does help me quite a bit. But with all that said, I've been a driver and I will see you guys later. Bye for now.